AskReddit by Ghost-Anonymous. What will it take for it to stop mass shootings in America? Impossible. The amount of guns in the country plus root individualistic society plus rampant access to the internet breeding highly radicalized echo chambers plus media sensationalism plus poor financial and mental health opportunities equals disaster. I'm all for doing something new, but there is no clear-cut answer. Einstein couldn't solve this one. Australia used to have a thing going on where the government basically bought the guns from people, and then once they were done, they made it law to not be able to own a gun. Again, with the way government is in America, that won't happen. When stopping mass shootings can be monetized? Good answer, because only thing that makes the world go round, especially here in the US, is the rich get richer. If nothing happened after Sandy Hook, nothing will happen now. Nothing that anyone is actually willing to do, obviously. People want things to be better, they are just unwilling to sacrifice anything personally to deal with it. California, for instance, considered one of the most liberal states in the country, tried setting up government housing to address homelessness. But the second people realized those homeless people would now be living in units down the street from their homes, they conveniently changed their minds and decided this isn't the best way to deal with the issue. Lol. It's unsurprising to a certain extent. This country is founded upon concepts of individualism and personal liberty rather than communalism, where me and my success are seemingly more important than society as a whole. People are too miserable due to so many things, some are self-inflicted, some are not, to actually be willing to do anything about it. A complete culture change. Probably the most true answer, but also the most unlikely. Maybe over another century, but definitely not immediate enough to prevent more death. Was there another shooting in America on top of the Buffalo one? Is that why there are suddenly all these AskReddit questions? You got answers about the one most recently, but we have also had a shooting at a Taiwanese church, seemingly gang-related violence near the nicer area of Chicago, and now this. It's been 9 days. I wanna know how an 18 years old gets in the frame of mind where he wants to shoot up an elementary school. Also wanna know how he got in. I can't get in my kid's school without at least getting buzzed in. Edit. I see in the news this morning he shot his way in. Jesus. I work at an elementary school. Not all of them have fence gates. Anyone could walk into my school from the wide open front or through the entrance behind the school that goes into a neighborhood. Also, my school doesn't have big buildings. All of the classrooms open right to the outside. Nothing stops someone from walking right into my classroom other than a locked door. This setup is quite common all around California. I grew up in South Africa and went to some pretty crap schools filled with some of the dregs of society. We had underpaid teachers who didn't really care etc. I was skateboard kid who was seen as a freak due to skating and liking metal and other music. I took my fair share of beatings from the bullies at school and outside of school, but I never ever had a desire to walk into school and murder the bullies or teachers or anyone else for that matter. I think the problem in America is much bigger than a weird kid going mad. It's got to be societal for anyone to harbor that much hate for life. Just my honest opinion and from my perspective. Yes, we have a rot in the heart of American society. They used to hand out free personal-sized pizza coupons for reading books when I was in elementary school. Maybe we can do something like that? They still do. https://www.bookitprogram.com/ First and foremost, stop treating it like a soap opera. The news channels detail and go over so much on these shootings it isn't reporting, it's entertainment. It's become so mainstream that at this point I just shrug and go, oh, another one. Whatever. I'll hear about it for another few months. Then some other kid will glorify it, cause TV and do it himself because he needs the attention, and monkey see monkey do. It's obvious how to get that attention from as many people as possible all at once. The problem is much deeper than this and takes people more qualified than I to solve, but this is where it starts. Edit. I'd like to clarify that my stance isn't some total media censorship on the matter. Simply that the focus has to stop being 99% on the shooter and thus further inspiring more violence. The 24-hour news cycle is one of the worst things to happen to the news media and reporting in general, in my opinion. Having to fill all that airtime with programming lead to the over-reporting and flood of opinionated bullshit we see on news networks. Columbine was the 20th of April, 1999. Exactly, and the first thing they did was start pointing fingers at video games and TV instead of actually looking into a proper answer. Probably a meteor. America has this weird culture of self-hatred and people who enjoy being angry about things. I'm at a loss to explain it. Politics as entertainment happened. These hosts need to fill hours on end of their radio TV shows with something, and actual politics is really boring. Do you think you are going to get millions of people watch you debate the intricacies of corn subsidies or line items in the budget? Nope, you are only going to get people to tune in if you are entertaining and create a good villain. That's the level of discourse in this country. The children of important people will have to fall victim. They don't care if us riffraff die off. We've all just been cannon fodder all this time besides. If there is one thing I learned from COVID is that a bunch of politicians won't care until it personally affects them. A complete reform of society as a whole in effectively every level. So in short, they won't stop swapping the budgets for education and defense. Seriously. Give people hope and opportunity. The extinction of all life on planet Earth? It'll only stop when the USA is no more. We are too large of a nation with a very diverse population that does not get along and has a lot of unwarranted hate for the other. While the issue is partly due to guns, I believe the bigger issue is in the hearts of mankind. We no longer know how or want to forgive others for slights and transgressions of the past. There's more I'd like to say, but I need to collect my thoughts. I don't know, but as an American, I'm tired of it. I've never been shot, but I know it hurts, and I know that when I was a little kid and I got hurt, all I wanted was my mom. And those poor kids didn't even have that. One of the victims of the Buffalo shooting was there to buy a birthday cake for his 3-year-old son. Your birthday is supposed to be the best day ever when you're a kid, and now he's never gonna look at a birthday cake again without thinking that's the reason my dad didn't come home, and that's fucking heartbreaking. I don't know how we fix it, but I'm tired of watching the people in power be too self-righteous and selfish to do anything about it at all. And I'm tired of regular people being too self-righteous and selfish to do anything about it at all, with the votes that they cast and with the votes that they don't cast because they don't even fucking show up. I'm tired of everyone thinking someone else is gonna do the work for us when it's blatantly obvious that help is not arriving. And I don't know how many more kids have to die or be traumatized before we pull our heads out of our asses and put them together for ourselves and our kids, because what I do know is that those kids should be here. Edit to add, because apparently it's not incredibly fucking obvious even though I stated I live in the US. The solution to gun violence is multifaceted and includes way more than just restricting gun access, but it does include restricting gun access. Genuinely didn't think I would even have to say that. Whether or not any of these steps toward a solution are implemented at all, that's what I don't know. Cessation of the sensationalism that typically occurs after them would be a good start. For a while they seem to be getting pretty good about naming the shooting victims and avoiding talking much about the shooter. But I've noticed more lately they've reverted and gone back to talking more about the shooter. There's no stopping it. People will always be dumb. You could revamp the education system, but that takes years to see the effects, and even if you do, there are just so many different types of communities that the education doesn't always work. Literally the only thing that will stop mass shootings in schools is WW3 breaking out and wiping out a ton of people so lives become even more precious, and nationalism forces people into a Americans against others mindset. But then we'll be killing others instead. Humans are dumb and violent race. Angry parents make angry kids. Politicians stirring the anger for cheap gains does not help.